Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back, Southeast Asia, to the Garena Premier League Summer 2017 knockout stage. And we're here at what might be the last game of the first match we have for today. The Philippines Team Manila Eagles. Will they rise from the ashes like a phoenix? Or will the Gigabyte Marines shoot them down? We'll be your shoutcasters for the third game of this match. I'm Atlas, and with me is Arctic.
Man, oh man. I mean, what an insane first two games that we had. Very insane in the sense that it's pretty evident that the Gigabyte Marines, again, showing a lot of power, not slowing down whatsoever from what we'd expected of them. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and review the bans real quick as the picks are being thrown out right now. So bans from Gigabyte Marines, Cassiopeia once again, Ari and Zed, and
everything against Trevor. As for TME, they're banning out quite a diverse set of champions here. Rakan from Sia. Elise banned out against Levy, and then the Galio actually banned against both Nevin, and Archie will be playing in the mid lane instead of Optimus for this game. He's going to be sitting it out for this game 3. Archie will be filling in. As for the support role, it's going to be Sia.
I wonder if it's going to be yet another scenario wherein, somewhat similar to the finals that happened in Vietnam, they didn't play out Optimus during the third game at match point, and still they won. So
it's still going to be a very strong configuration for this one. This team is not to be underestimated, especially rather even without Optimus, because as you said, in the finals of Vietnam, they just stomped it out against Young Generation even without their star mid laner. As for the picks here, Callista prioritized by No Way here. As for Team Manila Eagles, Rox picks up his signature Thresh as well as Kups's Zac.
Man, oh man, we'll just have to see once again if for a second time around, Kups could finally get things going in this game, or is it going to be yet another trend, which I'm kind of worried about, but
that is a big possibility. And first picking your jungler pick is quite dangerous if you consider the trends for what happened in the previous games. 2 games in this match is having information already of what Kups is going to bring out means that Levy has all the information in the world. Who am I going to pick up? How am I best going to starve out and strangle Kups from the map?
We'll just have to see again where he's still waiting a pick coming in from Levy here, but nonetheless, so what we've seen thus far, looks like Team Manila Eagles going to stick with what they know, I'd say, but I'm worried if what they know is kind of limited to not being able to make those adjustments.
That's true.
We keep on saying the same thing over and over again. It's all up to Kups, but as soon as the drought comes in, it's just a very sad thing to witness.
Because the laning was honestly fine. Trevor was doing great against Optimus. JLC was surviving against Nevin. And Marky and Rox were pretty okay in the bot lane. Every single difference that happened in the lanes was created by Levy. And how he created it is he completely dictates where Kups goes. He goes for the Raptors, pushes Kups away from his own Raptors. But the real target isn't the Raptors. It was bot side. And that was quite a beautiful kind of pathing coming from the Vietnamese jungler. As for the rest of the picks here, JLC, this might be TME's switch for the Shin Akuma Dark JLC, going for a high damage carry top laner on that Jace. As for Gigabyte Marines, Corky will be the pickup for Archie. And it seems like it seems like Nevin will be picking up the cannon for this one. As for it might actually be Trevor on the Jace, with the Scion being picked up by JLC. That is a big possibility here.
Yeah, we'll just have to see. But then again, waiting for this long. Very interesting, however. 3 range champions going to be decked out for the Gigabyte Marines right here in the form of Callista, Corky, and Kennen. So interesting dynamic that we have here. But looks like the Twitch going to be locked in right now. Power pick coming in from Mark. He needs to pull out all the stops in this game, as it is very crucial. Match point, like we did say. 1 win away.
Very CC heavy on the side of Gigabyte Marines. They have such a perfect setup for this, with the Fate's Call just being able to send in the usually kited out Braum, allow him to make an easy frostbite into a Glacial Fissure. As for TME, this is quite the scene we're having. Lots of tankiness, lots of CC coming from GLC, Kups, and Rox, but there's a lot of damage as well in a short amount of time coming from Marky and Trevor, so that might be one of their win conditions, is to just allow them to poke them out and then go for a huge power play that could be the case here, but there's so much potential for it to be turned around by the Gigabyte Marines.
Indeed, and from what we have seen, Gigabyte Marines really know how to play by their composition to the T, and it's not really a in the moment type of thing. It's that they already have that forethought as to what they need to do as early as the first few minutes, that it's just a build-up of a game plan manifesting into the later parts of the game. So at this point, Team Manila Eagles, they can't just rely on their laning phase alone, because
they cannot do anything that will jeopardize any of their chances, and that includes not overcommitting, knowing your chances, because you cannot let your guard down around the Gigabyte Marines. Don't blink. Don't look back. Don't turn around. Blink and you're dead.
And
that's the case here.
Overall, we're just going to have to see. As before we head into the game, let's go ahead and check out a very quick interview.
Ang pinaka-nahirapan ako sa group stage ay yung top laner ng YG kasi mahilig siyang pumili ng strong lane, tapos yung jungle, kinakamp lang yung top. Nananatili akong kalmado kasi yung bago kami maglaro, nililibang ko lang yung isip ko kasi nanonood ako ng mga videos, mga ganun, K-pop song. Ang naiisip ko sa GAM na mga kalaban namin sa knockout stage, medyo hindi naman kami natatakot. Naisip namin, kakayanin namin dahil una, nabubuo na naman yung chemistry namin ng team, nagkakasundo na ulit kami. Kaya yun, siguro, kaya namin sila. Ang message ko lang para sa mga hindi nagtiwala na makapasok kami sa knockout stage, okay lang yun kasi miski rin naman kami sa una, di naman inisip na makapasok kami. Basta nagtiwala lang kami sa sarili namin, kaya yun, nanalo kami.
All right, we have loaded into the third and what might be the final game for this match between Gigabyte Marines from Vietnam versus Team Manila Eagles from the Philippines. And of course, that interview with JLC Oppa Paiting is going to be the case here because he really wants to take this championship from Gigabyte Marines. As for TME here, they're making a sneaky play here around the red buff. Seems like it might not equate to too much except for a little bit of vision control on the red side, knowing exactly where Levy will start. This allows Nevin to actually make a little bit of a vision there in the top side.
Yes,
so
indeed.
Both teams will know exactly where the junglers will start.
Nonetheless, with all said and done, even with that little bit of an invade coming in from Team Manila Eagles, looks like they will reset to their standard lane. So nothing particularly crazy going to be transpiring. But I spoke too soon actually, as looks like Nevin and Archie going to try to get some disruption on. Trevor actually going to go in, forces the ignite, and JLC going to get the knockup. And that is going to be first blood. Nevin trying to drought Coops a bit more, but looks like he will be forced to back away.
That is going to backfire a ton for Gigabyte Marines. Archie does not have the initiative in that mid lane. Now Trevor will be more powerful because even with burning the ignite there for Trevor, Archie cannot have kill pressure in return because he went for the teleport.
Ooh, actually Rock's getting the hook on, but we won't get any further pursuit as both sides are still level 1. So that couldn't necessarily have been followed up with a play. So, good safety right there coming in from the Eagles.
For that mid lane play, however, if Archie was able to get 2 Raptors away from Coops, 2 or 3 Raptors away from Coops, that would actually have been phenomenal for Gigabyte Marines. But with a great response there, Trevor and JLC able to get the kill against Archie. Good collapse, good collapse.
Indeed, indeed. So we'll just have to see if this is something, good start for Team Manila Eagles. But then again, we have seen a lot of these instances wherein a team could get a good start against the Gigabyte Marines, but this is what I've been talking about. They make up
there we go.
But Trevor actually going to get dived in right here. Looks like that is going to be the case as Levy ultimately gets the kill.
So yeah, that is going to equalize the lane pretty much because even though only an assist goes to Archie, this leaves him with a little bit of freedom to CS that mid lane and then deny lots of farm from Trevor. I think this will actually reset the lane, and which is tragic for Team Manila Eagles, even with the first blood, because he will be losing a full wave to the turret here and experience as well.
But speaking of experience, this is what I've been talking about with Gigabyte Marines. Even though you might get that small upper hand at the start, they slowly make ways to make up for it in other ways, whether it be in terms of objectives or, from what I'm seeing right now, in terms of the overall CS difference, wherein across the board or across different lanes, with the exception of jungle, of course, Gigabyte Marines is pretty much on top of it.
He's still on top. Even 200 gold lead here. Very, very small, inconsequential, but it does mean that they are actually recovering really hard from that first blood. Seems like it won't mean much in the long run, especially since Trevor now with one death will not be able to snowball hard against Archie, building from that first blood. And now actually, JLC is the one feeling the pain. Nevin and Levy just pressuring him so hard. So it's definitely now a different game plan. With Levy no longer trying too hard to deny Kups his pathing and his ganking, but more on trying to help his lanes dominate. And that's actually happening right now.
I like how methodic. Oh, that's going to be helpful connecting, but looks like the Eagles have to kind of take it a bit easy here.
Just a little bit. Contaminate, not just yet. And so far, very defensive lane come from No Way and yeah. Now Marky is the one bullying them into the turret, but I think they're completely fine with that. Kups, ooh, he does not get that 70 gold from that big Krug. It has to be bailed out.
Playing a very familiar game here in the form of what Levy does, but a little bit unlucky there because just right when he was getting into that farm, Levy within the vicinity. So I think in order to, if Kups wants to kind of match the strategy coming in from Levy, he wants to make sure, but oh, I'm going to have to hold it right there as Archie might actually get caught out here, but no, it's only Kups is actually left alone. Passive is going to be up, so I'm not sure if he'll be surviving this. Rock's going to try to back up, but there we go. Archie manages to get the takedown from Kups, but Archie will be going down in exchange to Rox though, but Rox caught in a very tough place here. Marky will be forced to back away. For the meantime, Marky forced to actually proc the flash here, but Rox will be going down as No Way gets killed.
I don't think that was very worth it. Thinking emoji. Definitely not worth it there, because I think Rox was going for something valiant there. That was definitely a play there, and they were not in the same page. But mostly I think it was because Marky was the one on the last in initiative there. He was the one who arrived last, which allowed No Way and Sia to actually get there in time. Levy as well to take Kups out while defenseless.
Again, it's all about those split-second decisions where you have to really kind of coordinate with your teammates if you're just going to try to make a play and just get there as much as possible, because as far as who I saw ultimately got there first, you know, Gigabyte Marines, better communication right there in that case. But Marky actually going to get dived in here. Saya taking most of the damage, but actually gets the kill. No Way. Well, it does get the trade-off though, but still, it did take a while.
Yeah, but now the lane is reversed. Earlier, Marky was the one bullying, but now No Way is the one in position with the lead. Around 15 CS lead over Marky and 2 kills over him, or rather 1 kill over him. That means right now, Gigabyte Marines still in the lead around a 1.5k goal difference.
From what I'm seeing here, again, it's just very classic Gigabyte Marines, kind of outshining the competition in every avenue they can. If this is something that Team Eagles couldn't really start matching, then it's going to pretty much be a repeat of what happened during Game 2, I'd say, more than Game 1.
And Kups still needs to step up in terms of his ganking. He's gotten more breathing room in this game. He actually has access to his own camp, so now is his chance to actually play how he usually does and give his team kills that will lead to a snowball. But so far, he's still being pressured out by Levy, who is now level 6 actually, so the ganks will be much more potent from this Jarvan the 4th.
Yeah, this is basically, I feel this is a scenario where Team Eagles, they might have overestimated, overthought what might be happening from the Gigabyte Marines. That Kups, I'm not really sure now. Like you mentioned, this was a moment of opportunity for him, but still, you're not really seeing those solid ganks, nor at least the pressure. The pressure it alone would have been very significant, but not even that's happening right now.
Yeah, but now Levy is the one still. At this point, Levy realizes, okay, Kups has not adapted at all. It's time for us to strike. But here comes Kups for a counterattack.
Just getting the dive, and Trevor actually doing it with Archie here, but looks like Levy will be getting the kill. Trevor might find himself in a very tough position here, as he will be going down. Actually, but there you go, a little bit of a delay there, but No Way does get it, but will be going down to JLC. We have a little bit of a fight here as Rox will be the next casualty from the Eagles. JLC, the only surviving member, gets the knock-up onto the members of the Gigabyte Marines, but still very tricky, as that is a 1-for-4, very bloody in favor of the Marines.
Once again, miscommunication leads to fallout here. A simple complication there in the river means that TME loses 4 lives in the river, and man, that And I know that it was so close. Trevor almost got that kill against Archie, but since Archie participated in the fight there, he was able to get, and here's just more slaughtering coming from Gigabyte Marines. And still more losses, and all these resources again going to Levy. Coops might fall.
Indeed, but there we go. We still have much more of a fight happening here. Archie managing to get the kill onto Rocks. This is just casualties happening once again. And this is unfortunate because this is a trend that we've seen from Team Illegals, wherein once Gigabyte Marines establishes that solid clash or major objective, then this is where they kind of start faltering, kind of unsure.
Yeah, let's look at the replay of what happened there. Coops does a pretty decent engage, but because they're split in 3 angles, they cannot commit too hard. And here, Archie almost dies. He actually almost died before that with the Ignite from Trevor. But since he participated like in one hit in the fight that happened near the blue buff, he got the dangerous game. 5% health saves him from Trevor killing him.
Here we go. So looks like overall score 10-4, but 5,000 almost leaning towards a 5,000 goal because so
that's huge at 10 minutes. And then once again, Gigabyte Marines is completely dominating the game because the fight earlier with Coops, Marky, and Rocks, as I said, they were attacking from 3 angles, but that just meant Marky had no front line. So he couldn't free hit as well as he should have.
Again, this is just ultimately the preparation and the overall experience of Gigabyte Marines really outclassing Team Manila Eagles to the T right now. Because again, by history, Team Manila Eagles, this is their first showing in the GPL. Sure, other members such as JLC, he does have experience having competed in the GPL with Imperium Pro Team in the past, but that doesn't really tantamount to what the Gigabyte Marines has overall as a team.
Because these players have had, okay, here we go.
Yes, a little bit of a fight happening here. Coops not really getting a bounce onto any of the members of the Marines, but still, Marky getting the kill as Saya might be the next casualty in this set. Eagles continues to chase here, and will they be able to get the kill? That's still happening here in the mid side, though. Looks like Team Eagles, a lot of action happening across the board. Levy, the next casualty as the shutdown does happen, and that's going to be 4 members, of the Marines down in favor of, finally, Team Eagles.
So that is going to be still a gold lead to GAM, but that's 5K, cut down to 2K. Team Manila Eagles played that pretty well, but I think it's the consequence of mechanical play rather than a big overarching shot call there. But still, they get a really good comeback, a little bit of a comeback from that one. And building on your experience point earlier, it's the thing that all of the players, most of the players rather from Gigabyte Marines have experience in GPL. JLC has experience in GPL.
Knock go on to Trevor here. No, he easily takes him down. That's actually unfortunate because after that 4-man casualty to the Gigabyte Marines, both sides, like Trevor in the mid lane as well as 3 members of the Eagles, kind of go at it at the bot side, wherein another option could have been to have just gone pushed out the lanes and then go straight for a dragon, because I felt like that would have been enough time for that takedown there instead of investing way too much time on a turret that didn't even go down.
Then again, it is a cloud game. It's not really too important. Here Archie gets a little bit of a push. Actually, everyone gets a push here in the mid lane and bot lane. GLC trying to match it top lane. I'm not sure how that's faring, but we'll see the health later. But still, first turret gets taken by Gigabyte Marines. Second turret taken by Gigabyte Marines. We'll see. GLC is taking quite a long time to push this top lane. Might be an opportunity for Rox to engage, but no dice. Seems like they will just transition top lane, and now signals JLC to just get out of dodge and leave.
And this is going to be very tricky again. The goal difference actually
might have left too late, too little, too late. JLC
whatsoever. His vision actually 4 members of the Marines actually converging onto him as he goes down once again.
That's brutal. So that's going to be another kill onto No Way. Now Gigabyte Marines has an excellent kill distribution.
Here. Members of the Eagles actually going in.
4v5 though.
GAM though, it's going to be very dangerous for the Eagles if they don't balance it out. Coops actually goes into his passive, but I don't think he'll be able to survive it. Stun coming in from Nevin here as a slicing Maelstrom, but looks like GAM will continue the chase here. Archie actually goes for the flank as all members go down. Trevor, the only surviving member.
That is pretty much an ace there because Trevor died earlier, and now he's alone under duress. It seems like still Gigabyte Marines going into a 10K gold lead very, very soon. that's just quite tragic from Team Manila Eagles, because now Gigabyte Marines has even more control of what's happening around the map. Trevor trying to go for something. Shot down. Actually goes to him.
There we go. Will he be giving up this buff though?
But once again, it's the same thing. Trevor, earlier in the last game as Syndra, very good laning, is able to get the kills that he needs. But in the long run, in the big picture, it doesn't really amount to anything significant.
Again, this is just Gigabyte Marines. Like you mentioned, laning phase definitely good for the Eagles, particularly for Trevor, but doesn't really manifest as far as what you need on the macro level. But looks like Rocky actually might have to walk this out here. No way, that's the knockup onto Marky there, but Trevor ultimately taking down the supports. No way, we'll be able to walk this out though.
Another kill onto Trevor. But the big question is, that's great, Trevor stepping up, but the question is, will this matter in the long run? We'll see how that happened there. Levy gets caught out by a death sentence, tries to burst them down, but that is such a good position for a Glacial Fissure. Levy gets rescued by the flag and drag combo, which allows him to recover just enough. Here, Marky tries to go for a play, but the threat of the Photo Belt plus Slicing Maelstrom is too much, allows Levy to reposition to burst them down. And even then, even if that plan failed, Archie was right around the corner. Very well-timed teleport as a contingency, and it succeeds. Man, this is just straight up slaughter here. And so far, TME has been putting up a fight. This is more of a fight than they've put up in the first and second games combined, actually, if you think about it.
True, true indeed. I mean, that's the kudos that you can give, but whether or not this is a result of the subtle roster changes coming in for the Gigabyte Marines, I'm not quite sure, but it is definitely significantly better showing. But overall, looking at the bigger picture as to whether or not it could bring them to a victory, that's still the huge
question, because right now, Gigabyte Marines, 3 turrets, and the Rift Herald, TME has not pushed anything. Even the long push that JLC performed at the top lane earlier has not left the top lane turret at very low health. So far right now, kudos to Archie. He has been stepping up in this mid lane role, and if you consider it, his performance is almost up to par to how Optimus has been playing against Team Manila Eagles specifically so far. Because I think if Optimus was the one playing here, I don't think it would still make a lot of difference for Team Manila Eagles.
Trevor might actually get cut out here. Actually manages to sidestep the knockup, but will survive yet another day.
Does burn a pretty important cooldown for Gigabyte Marines, but we'll see if they can actually use that to their advantage. There's a lot of pressure across the board coming from the Gigabyte Marines team. See,
I really like getting out onto the top lane duo of the Gigabyte Marines. It looks like Ross taking a lot of damage coming in from Norway as they get the knockup onto Marky. Marky, the damage is real, but the teleport is going to be popped up. Coming in from Nevin as he gets the kill on 2.
Levy.
Oh man, this is just a bloody fest right there as double kill does indeed go to Nevin.
Backfired right there because JLC and Copes are quite busy trying to defend the mid lane against Rift Herald and Archie. Left them vulnerable to Levy and Nevin responding to that. So in the end, not worth it for Gigabyte, for Team Manila Eagles. Still more turrets falling down, 5 turrets to 0. Gigabyte Marines still with the initiative. Even when they lose, they win in that fight.
Oh man, it's just so unfortunate because you can definitely see all the effort coming in from Team Manila Eagles right now to try to make things happen. But ultimately, sure, they get a few kills, but at the end of the day, it's the situations like there where suddenly there's these heavier responses that Gigabyte Marines eventually builds up to get a better deal out of.
Yeah, and that's the big picture thinking. Gigabyte Marines, when they win, they get something really big in the big picture. But if they lose, they come back from it, and in the big picture, the large scheme of things, they still get ahead. While TME, even if they get a small win, a huge shutdown, they still lose out when it comes to the macro side of the game. And so far, that's what it's been manifesting. Because look at the kill distribution. 5 kills, 2 assists on both carries. That is absolutely huge. While on the other hand, Gigabyte Marines, the jungler's gold is the one where it's concentrated. But because of that, Levy can just burst people down.
Indeed, and at the end of the day, it's definitely showing towards the itemization here. Looking at the just in comparison, like even if you look at Noe versus Marky here, like Noe already 2 items to completion, already nearing 3 with boots, not to mention Marky only just 1 item, not even complete set of boots yet. So this is just very, very worrying for the Eagles right now. Again, they're just trying to build up here, but from what I'm seeing, Gigabyte Marines definitely almost 4 steps ahead right now.
Yeah, and they're the ones that are supposed to be the ones making plays here. Looking at his composition, they want to end this fast and hard. But here, if they wait it out to late game, Archie in no way will just scale up to high heavens, and so will Nevin. So it's really something that they have to keep in mind. And they have really failed to try and stop the Gigabyte Marines from overpowering them in the early game and coming into this mid-game. They're just continuing to falter against the pressure.
In all fairness to the team in the Legos,
Yes.
as far as their drafting, like this is definitely something that is much more in keeping to their strengths.
Yes.
It's just that even with those positives working in favor of them, at the end of the day, it's all about the execution. Whether or not you could utilize your win conditions to the T given your composition. But unfortunately, that's something that Team Legos wasn't even able to accomplish with this. And like you mentioned, as this game goes on, it's just going to lean towards Gigabyte Marines. And that window of opportunity that the Team Legos had to dominate as far as the earlier game, it's just slowly closing. If anything, it's almost like a closed book at this point.
So they have to be really careful how they play the next few minutes, because one wrong move and Gigabyte Marines will pounce and completely shut down their base. So they have to make a play somewhere, but it seems like if you look at the minimap, No Way is starting the Baron. Seems like TME already knows, even if they don't see any wards in this area, they know No Way is starting to get this Baron. The Rend will be a huge pickup for this one. Coops and JLC positioning for something. Early teleport from JLC.
Yes, there we go. JLC actually gets the Lantern out of there, but ultimately still Gigabyte Marines does secure the Baron here. This might be the big fight that we're looking for. That might dictate the game. Archie getting the kill onto Treble here. Ross and Marky, though. Marky as well will be the next casualty here. Make that JLC as well as the rest of TME. Looks like are down.
It seems like JLC and the rest of TME have been aced, and with a Baron that could actually mean game 20-second death timers are pretty short. So I think this means it will just be a huge push for Gigabyte Marines. But that fight, that was quite messy from TME. When they engaged towards the Baron pit, they were split apart. Their carries were left vulnerable because Rox was behind the Baron pit. The rest of the tanky members weren't in front of the carries. And because of that, look at this huge push that will come from Gigabyte Marines. Only now as TME responds, so that's already a mid lane inhibitor, which is important. Rox actually misses the play by a mile. This is a lot of nerve, like, getting to Team and the Eagles at this point.
Indeed, and I was kind of thinking that we were, without even looking at the timer, I was estimating that we'd probably be at the 25 to 30 minutes, but no, we've actually only just entered 20 minutes of the game, so that was just a newly respawned Baron that Gigabyte Marines was able to secure right there, so huge advantage with Nevin actually going to be going in unstoppable. Look at the damage coming in, double kill, and Kus might actually be the 3rd casualty here, and indeed.
Yeah, that's a triple kill onto the cannon there, and that will actually signal the rest of Gigabyte Marines to continue pushing into the base of TME, knocking at TME's death's door, and they will want to go through here. TME at death's door here definitely want to recover, but at this point, with the death timers, with a Baron buff, with 4 members alive, I don't think that can be the case. As Gigabyte Marines take away the 3rd game in a clean sweep against Team Manila Eagles in the knockout stage of the Garena Premier League Summer 2017.
GG, well played right there. So, man, oh man, again, that's just a very good showing as to why Gigabyte Marines, considered the Lord and Saviors of Southeast Asia, are the favorite of most regions, I guess.
Yeah, coming from the rest of the regions, Gigabyte Marines definitely the favorite, and they prove that they are worth the people's attention, people's faith and trust. And right here is just a huge show of power. But kudos to Team Manila Eagles. They did put up a fight in the 3rd game, but that was just completely outclassed by Gigabyte Marines.
Indeed, and technically, although this is just the semifinals for the knockout. So regardless, Team Manila Eagles, they still have a chance. To make it to Worlds, although via the second slot, as the Gigabyte Marines will proceed to the next stage, wherein they're only one match away from securing that first seed into Worlds right there. So ladies and gentlemen, wow, what a game. But of course, be sure to stay tuned, as when we come back, we still have the best of 5 between Vietnam's Young Generation against Thailand's Ascension Gaming. Of course, we have been your casters, Arctic Atro Service Fam, and of course, with me is Atlas. We'll be right back. Once again, this is the Garena Premier League 2017 summer season. Stay tuned.
Adapted at all. It's time for us to strike. But here comes Cook for a counterattack.
Just getting the dive, and Trevor actually doing it with Archie here. But looks like Levy will be getting the kill. Trevor might find himself in a very tough position here, as he will be going down. Actually, but there we go, a little bit of a delay there, but no way does get it, but will be going down to JLC. We have a little bit of a fight here, as Rock will be the next casualty from the Eagles. JLC, the only surviving member, gets the knock-up onto the members of the Gigabyte Marines, but
he was able to get, and here's just more slaughtering coming from Gigabyte Marines, and still more losses, and all these resources again going to Levy. Coops might fall.
Indeed, but there we go, we still have much more of a fight happening here. Archie, man, the Eagles actually going in.
45 though.
GAM though, it's going to be very dangerous for the Eagles if they don't balance it out. Cook actually goes into his passive, but I don't think he'll be able to survive it. Stun coming in from Nevin here as a slicing Maelstrom, but looks like GAM will continue the chase here. Archie actually goes for the flank, as all member damage coming in from Norway as they get the knockup onto Marky. Marky, the damage is real, but the teleport is going to be popped up. Coming in from Nevin as he gets the kill on 2.
Levy.
Oh man, this is just a bloody fest right there.
Positioning for something. Early teleport from TLC.
Yes, there we go. TLC actually gets the lantern out of there, but ultimately still Gigabyte Marines does secure the Mariner despite being a big fight. We're looking for that nice big again. Archie getting the kill onto Treble here. Ross and Marky though. Marky as well will be the next casualty here. Make that JLC as well as the rest of TME. Looks like our
Seems like JLC and the rest here. TME at death's door here definitely want to recover, but at this point, with the death timers, with a Baron buff, with 4 members alive, I don't think that can be the case. As Gigabyte Marines take away the 3rd game in a clean sweep against Team Manila Eagles in the knockout stage of the Garena Premier League Summer 2017.
GG, well played right there.